So guys, now we are going to see how to use assertion comment. Okay, so let me just make one more Python file that will be like assertion test one.py. Okay, perfect. So I'll just copy everything from here, like the initial things which is required. I'll show you what is that. Okay, so yeah, perfect. So first of all, obviously we need to write a class name, and that will include the setup and tear down, right? So it will basically open the driver, and the tear down will basically close the driver. And in between, if you made any function that starts with test word, then it will perform that thing. Okay. So we're going to write over here def test. Sorry, it's test. Yeah, test assertion, and inside the parenthesis we have to pass self. Yeah, self. And then we are going to write over here, for example, we want to fetch the title of that particular website, right? So let me just open refiner.com over here, and let's see the title of that particular website. Go into inspect, and well, okay, so here is this head tag, and inside the head tag we have this title, right? So I'll just copy the title, and yeah, I'll just make a comment and paste the title. Then we're going to write over here title is equals to driver dot title, right? So yeah, and then we're going to write over here self assertion self dot assertion false. Okay, well, let me check it first. It's assert false. Okay, assert false, right? And in the parentheses, if the title is wrong, then it will return true, and if the title is true, then it will return false. Okay, let me first of all write over here assert true, so that you can understand properly. Assert true. Okay, so it will basically returns true whenever the title is the home underscore definer. Okay, so let me just write over here title is equals to over here. I'll just copy and paste it over here. Perfect. So yeah, let's run it and see whether it's working or not. Well, it is loading refiner.com. Yeah, so you can see, well, okay, there is an error. The driver is not defined. Okay, it's self.driver, self.driver.title. Perfect. So let's run it again and see. So you can see it returned okay, right? And it successfully ran this one test. But in case if you just write over here assert false, then it will throw an error. That is because of the title is equals to home hyphen refiner, and that's true. So whenever the condition is true, it will return false. Okay. Whenever the condition is false, then it will only return true. Okay. So let's run it and see. So you can see it's running and it's loading the web page. Okay, and yeah, you can see that test assertion fail, right? That is because true is not false. Okay, so if I just write over here title is not equals to this thing, obviously that is false, so it will return true. Okay, that means it will run the test case properly. So let's run it again and see. So you can see it is loading the page, and now it should return okay. Okay, so let's wait. Yeah, so you can see it returned okay, ran one test successfully, right? So this is all about this assert true and assert false. So let's now see how to use assert equal and assert not equal. Okay, so I'll just make a comment of this is assert true and assert false. Okay, now let me just name this function as not underscore test or whatever that is, because if the function is not starting with test, then obviously it will not run. That means now if I run it, it will not run this particular section. Okay, so let's make one more function, and that will be test underscore assertion 2. Okay, and it will also take self as an argument, and over here we are going to write yep, title is equals to self dot driver dot title. I'll just copy it from here and paste it over here, and now we're going to write self dot assert equal. Okay, self dot dot assert equal. Okay, so it basically takes 3 arguments. Okay, first of all, you know, if the condition is true, then it will return, it will run the code properly. Okay, for example, I'll just write this string over here in the first argument as a first argument. Okay, and then comma, then the second argument is title. Okay, then again a comma, and then we have to write some lines in case error occurs. Okay, for example, the title is not matched. Okay, so that means, let me show you how this works actually. So it will just check whether this thing is equals to the second argument. Okay, whether the first argument is equals to the second argument, then it will run the code. Okay, in case the first argument is not equals to the second argument, then it will return this error that the title is not matched. Okay, so let's run it. So for now it's true, right? Home hyphen refiner is the title of the particular page, so it should run the code properly. So let's clear it out, clear the terminal. Okay, let's run it again. So you can see it's loading the page. Okay, so you can see it ran properly, right? But now in case I just write over here refiner coding site or something like that, coding site. Okay, so obviously now it is false. Okay, so yeah, let's clear the terminal and run the code again. So now you can see through an error, and the error is nothing but the line which you wrote over here. That means the title is not matched. You can see the error is the title is not matched. So the actual title is home underscore hyphen refiner, and we wrote home refiner coding site, right? So the title is not matched. That's why it threw an error. This is a failure. So this in this way you can use this assert equal, and there is one more thing that is not equal. So assert then not and then equal. Remember N and E is in capital. Okay, so this will basically do the opposite thing of assert equal, obviously. So in case the condition is false, then it will run the code properly, otherwise it will not run. So let me just remove this particular line. Okay, or I can just make it comment, and so that you can get the code from my GitHub repo, and I'll just copy this code again and paste it again over here. And now we will just write over here assert not equal. Okay, and I'll remove this one because it takes only 2 arguments. Okay, so in for this case obviously it will return true, and that's why it will run the code properly. So let's clear the terminal and run this code again. So you can see it ran properly. And now if I write the correct title over here, that means home hyphen refiner. And now if I run it, so you can see it threw an error, assertion not equals, right? So now we are going to see how to use assert is none and assert is not none. Okay, so before that I need to make a comment again. Hashtag this is assert equal and assert not equal. Okay, so now we're going to see how to use this assert is none and assert is not none. So we don't need to create any function for that, we can just use it over here. Okay, so I'll just make it a comment that this is assert is none and assert is not none. Okay, so how to use that thing, right? So we have to just write over here self dot assert is none. Well, yeah, this one assert is none, and inside this we can just pass let me think, yeah, self dot driver. Okay, so actually assert is none returns true whenever the variable whichever you passed inside this parenthesis that is equals to none. Okay, but here it is not true, right? That is because self dot driver indicates the Chrome driver, right? So that means it is not none, or you can say null, right? So that means it will return false and the code will not run. So let me save it and clear the terminal, and let's run it again. So you can see it failed the test case. You can see over there it's failure. That is because assertion error, and this is not null, right? So that means this value is not null. It contains some value that is not equals to null. But there is one more thing, that is assertion is not none. Okay, so let me just write over here assert is not none. Okay, so it will actually check whether the value of the variable is null or not. If the variable value is null, then it will return false, and if the variable contains some value, then it will return true. So here we have some value in self.driver, right? So that means it will return true and the code will run properly. Okay, so let me clear it out, and let me just write over here not, so that it cannot perform this particular function, right? So yeah, let's run it. So you can see it ran the test successfully and it returned okay, right? So now there is like one more thing, that is assert greater, assert greater equal, assert laser equals. Okay, so let's see that. Okay, so I'll just write over here, this is assert greater. Okay, and the other one is assert laser. Okay, that's it. So here I'll just write one more function, and that will be test underscore assertion 3. Okay, and it will also take self, and now we are going to write over here for example, okay, we don't need to write title. Okay, so I'll just write self dot assert greater, this one, and inside the parenthesis it actually takes two arguments. For example, if I just write 100 comma 10, so obviously 100 is greater than 10, right? So it will return true and it will run the test case. Okay, so let's see that. So you can see it is loading the web page, it should return okay. So yeah, you can see it returned okay, right? That means it's working. And there is one more thing, like assert greater equal, so self dot assert greater equal. Okay, so it's also takes two arguments. So in case if you just write 100 comma 20, obviously that's true and it will run perfectly. In case if you just write 100 comma 100, so it is like 100 is not greater than 100, but it will also check another condition, that is equals to. Okay, so there it finds out that it's true because 100 is equals to 100. So that's why it will run the code properly. There is lesser equals to, those things work similarly, like this assert greater than assert greater equals to. So you just need to write self dot assert lesser. Okay, it's actually less equal. Okay, so not laser, it's less equal and less. Okay, so that's it, assert less, and this is the function where you can just write 10 comma 30. 10 is less than 30, so that's why it will return true and it will run the code, otherwise it will return assertion error. Okay, so the the next one is self dot assert less equal. Okay, this one, it will actually check whether the numbers are lesser than the second one or equals to the second one. Okay, and there are so many things you can perform with assertion, like assert in, assert not in. That will basically check like if the element in the list, it will return true. Okay, so that kind of thing, assert in and assert not in, you can check them manually. That's really easy, or you can just go into the documentation, and from there you can just take a help. Okay, because otherwise if I try to make a long video, you can just see over here. Let me just write self dot assert. Okay, you can see there are so many options, so many. If I just go into details of every options, then this video will go like 2 or 3 hours long. Okay, so you can just check all of them, or whenever you want to use something, you can just obviously go into the documentation and check that documentation. Okay.